Well, welcome to our Lancaster virtual PTA day and info session. I'm Lisa Seifert. I'm the Director of Recruitment. I'm actually up in the Summerdale campus, but I am joined today. I want to introduce you to some people, friends and colleagues on this Zoom call. So we have Lori Eberly, who is one of your instructors down in the Lancaster Center. And then we also have Amy Reinhold, who you have been working with. I'm getting all those requirements in and getting all ready. And then we also have Kelly Fox, who is our financial planning coordinator, who's probably been talking with you about your financial aid, your FAFSA, scholarships. So all of these lovely ladies will be presenting today and letting you know what it's going to be like here at Central Penn. Just a couple quick housekeeping things. If you could have changed your name on the screen to either your first and last name would be helpful, just so we can get attendance today, or at least your first name so I can figure it out. And then also just the chat feature. So anything, right now we have you all muted so you can hear us as we present. And then we will have the chat open the whole time. So if you have any questions that pop in your mind, please put them in there. And then at the end, we're going to go through and have a question and answer session. So we make sure that we get all of those questions that are in your minds answered today. So Amy, I'm going to hand it over to you so you can talk to them all about Central Penn and the PTA program.
Thank you. Derek, don't turn on the PowerPoint yet. I just want to say hello to everyone. Oh, I'm looking. Oh, James, that's you. You said iPhone a second ago. I can't see your face yet, though. Some of you I have met in person, but when I did, you had masks on. So I'm like seeing your faces for the first time, too. So hello, everyone. I'm so excited to see you. Hi, Alexa's mom. I know is on here. I have two Alexas on this call, actually. I have Alexa Feist and Alexa Higginbotham. And Angie, I know you're on. Oh, hi, Angie, how are you? Sarah's mom's on. So I just wanted to say hello to everyone. It's so nice to see your faces. So, all right, I'm done now. Thank you, Derek. You can turn on the PowerPoint. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about just, the program, the Central Penn College, in general, and some of the admissions requirements for PTA. So there's our mission statement. You can take a look at that. That's our college mission statement. And then you can flip that one over, Derek. Thank you. Okay, so physical therapist assistant, excuse me, I can never say physical therapist assistant. So we'll say that one time as PTA from here on out. It's an associate and applied science degree. So everyone is here. Most of you are definitely wanting the Lancaster Center. I know I have one or two of you on here who are kind of unsure between campuses. So Lancaster Center starts once a year in January, and the deadline for all the requirements is October 1st. I think pretty much everyone on here, I've been kind of working with you already and getting those requirements to you. The program in Summerdale does start twice a year in July and January. So there is a maximum of 30 students per class, 30 in Summerdale, 30 in Lancaster. Central Penn College in general is accredited by the Middle States Commission on Higher Education, and our PTA program is accredited by CAPTE, and they're going to make me say this again. I actually have this memorized now. I never could memorize what it stood for, but our program is accredited by the Commission on Accreditation in Physical Therapy Education. So that's pretty important. They kind of oversee all of our rules and regulations, make sure we're doing everything we need to do in class, and also the ones who oversee our national certification exam. So for this program and to be a PTA, you do need to pass your boards, your national certification exam, and get your license in order to be a PTA. So at the Lancaster Center, the program takes 2 years. It's 2 years, including the internship. So if you start January 2022, you're finished January 2024. The last, I guess, 14 weeks would be your internship. And Lori, who's Dr. Eberly, will speak a little bit more about that and kind of how that works in at the end. So Lancaster is a part-time evening program. You come to campus twice a week. The first year it's Tuesdays and Thursdays. Lori's saying no. Did something change? Mondays and Wednesdays. Oh my God, thank you. The first year is Mondays and Wednesdays, 5:30 to 9:30. The second year is Tuesdays and Thursdays, 5:30 to 9:30. We, of course, due to COVID, we've had to make a little bit of adjustments because we're only allowed so many people in the class at one time, so many people in the labs at one time. But we've been pretty much able to stick to that schedule. And hopefully by the time you all start, we'll be back on track the way it needs to be. You can go ahead, Derek. So 8 things people love about Central Penn College. So a couple of things here. You can earn your degree faster. I mean, the program at Lancaster is 2 years regardless, but we do go all year round. So we will go 11-week terms with 2-week breaks in between. So 11 weeks, a 2-week break, then 11 weeks, and you're back for your new term, your new classes, and 2-week break. So you can kind of count on your breaks. Towards the end of the program, you do a 2-week kind of clinical, a field experience, and that does take place over one of the breaks. And I will tell you that your internship, just for everyone who's out there working, it is basically your full-time job at that time, and it is unpaid. Not because we're mean and don't want you to be paid, but due to law, actually, medical internships aren't allowed to be paid. So that's something that, you know, people working may need to plan for. So student to faculty ratio, general at Central Penn is 15:1. We do accept a max of 30 into the program, but as Dr. Eberle may mention later, you do kind of like, there's not really 30 people to one instructor in a lab anyway. So even if there is 30 people or close to that in your class, you might be divided up and maybe have a lab assistant or something like that. All your classes are in Lancaster. And some are online. So I forgot to mention this earlier, all of your hands-on classes that require competencies are done in class. They tend to be they may call them a lab class. And all your kind of informational 3-credit classes are done online. So it's very hands-on program. And just some stuff, I was just at campus a week or two ago, and they had all the skeletons out, and Lori, you weren't there at the time. And I was showing, that might have actually even been Lexi, who's on this call right now. We were looking at how they had Play-Doh where all the muscles were. So, you know, it's not just like, oh, here, this is muscle is here to here. It's here's a skeleton. Let's take some Play-Doh. Let's put that Play-Doh where the muscles go, and helps you more to visualize it, to see it, to get your hands on it, even though you're actually just learning muscles. And I was like so intrigued. It was so cool looking. So we are located in Lancaster at the intersection of Greenfield Road and Old Philadelphia Pike. So if you're coming up 30, I get off Old Philadelphia Pike, wrap around, and it's like a minute off the exit there. We do accept transfer credits. A maximum of 30 gen ed credits if you've attended another institution. Normally when people reach out to me, I make sure that if you've attended another college, and I get all your transcripts, and then we see what can transfer in for you. At the Lancaster Center, if you transfer in credits, it doesn't shorten the program, but what it does is it would lighten your load per term. So if you transfer in some credits, maybe that's one gen ed that you don't have to take that term. You can focus a little bit more on your core PTA courses. Central Penn is affordable. It's been ranked as one of the most affordable colleges in PA, and we have a lot of academic support. So you may have to seek out the support, but we have lots of things available to you if you like seek it out and you look for it. So we do have a learning center. Learning center is located at Summerdale. However, you can get someone to work with you at Lancaster. You can do online tutoring and things like that. We have a counselor. Tom Palmieri is our counselor. He comes to Lancaster. Well, it used to be once a week. I'm not sure what he's doing now, but he has hours at Lancaster, and you can also email him and meet with him virtually. We have student success coaches, a student success center, and you'll also be assigned a faculty advisor who's a PTA instructor or a professor. And I know Lori is on here and she'll talk about this, but I love talking about my professors at Lancaster. So there's Dr. Eberly. She's a doctor of physical therapy, and she still works in the industry. She currently, it's LGH is actually your employer, right, Lori?
Yes.
But she goes to people's houses and does physical therapy. And Steve Campbell's our other professor, and he graduated from our program, and he works at, is it Ephrata Hospital? No, he works at one of the hospitals and does PTA. He was just telling me the last time that I was there that he had a 104-year-old patient. And he was telling me the story about her. So that was super cool. So they're both still working in the industry. It's not like they've been in the industry 10 years ago and now they're trying to teach you about physical therapy. So it's really good current information. At Central Penn, we do care about our students and we care about what happens to them after they graduate. So we track their graduate success. Our most recent statistics, 90.6% of our graduates were either employed in their chosen field or had chosen to go on and further their education. So we do have a career resources center. They can help with things like a resume, cover letter, interviewing, and all those other things that you see listed there. And now for the fun admissions process. So to get accepted, the first thing you need to do is fill out the application, and then you need to do a campus interview. So some of you probably got emails from me today, and I sent you a form and said, please fill this out. Some of you are so wonderful and diligent, I got them back already. So that counts as your campus interview. So if you're on this call today and you submit that form, you're done with that, you can check that off. If you're on this call and I didn't send you that email, it just means that you met with me already and we already completed it, so I didn't need to have it again. So if you didn't get an email from me, don't worry about it. If you did, please fill out that form and you can cross this off. Next thing, I will ask for your high school transcript. If you have college, it really doesn't go into play for acceptance, but it is something that we need to have on file due to our accreditation, so I'll still ask you to get that. If you did take the SATs or ACTs, I'll ask for those scores. And I will, of course, ask you if you have any in college so that I can see what credits that you can transfer in. You do need to have at least a 2.5 GPA in college, or if you have no college, in high school, in order to be accepted into the PTA program. Then I will talk to you about getting letters of recommendation. You'll need 2 letters of recommendation, basically from anyone who's like not family or a friend that can attest to your character and why they think you'd be a good fit for the program. Those get emailed directly to me. And then the thing that maybe takes the longest is that you do need to shadow and observe physical therapy. So you'll need to do a total of 20 hours watching, shadowing at least 2 separate sites. So you don't necessarily, it doesn't have to necessarily be exactly 10 hours here and 10 hours there. One person that is just starting went to 4 locations and did 5 hours at each location. That's just what he wanted to do. And this has been up and down with COVID. So over the past year, we've had, oh, no offices are letting anyone observe, and oh, it's back, and then it's not again. And I have been getting a lot of observation hours in, I must say. Some people are still struggling a little bit. The hospitals aren't really letting anyone observe, more of the inpatient side. And I think some of the offices that are letting people observe may be getting a little too many requests. So now they're kind of maybe saying no a little bit too. But it's okay. Don't stress out about that. Try to get your observation hours. Talk to me if you're struggling. We'll talk through it and we'll figure out what to do. There are forms for that. And after you apply, I'll send those to you. I'll give you a certain deadline for all those things to be turned in. For you to start in January, it would be October 1st. Everyone who has all those items turned in then does number 5 on this list here. They'll do a faculty interview and an essay. So you'll meet with probably Dr. Eberly, Steve, possibly Susan Lynch, who's the director of the center, and they're going to chat with you. They're going to chat with you similar than the way you chat with me. They're going to find out why you want to be a PTA. They're going to ask you some questions. They're going to get to know you a little bit. I think you'll find, and one thing that I've learned is there's a lot of communication skills involved with physical therapy and treating patients. So they're just looking for all that stuff out of you. And then you'll write an essay. So you don't do any of this ahead of time. You do it when I tell you. You'll write an essay on a given topic. and you'll get it back to me. Then all those items go into a rubric, and let's say the top 30 are accepted. We accept a max of 30. If you would happen to not be in the top 30 and you've gotten a certain score, you can go on a wait list. And I don't know, I think that's the end of my part. I don't know if anyone has any questions, maybe put them in the chat for me. We'll probably go over that at the end because Lori might answer that as well. So I'll see you in a little bit.
Okay, I'm going to take over for the financial aid. As Lisa said, my name is Kelly Fox, and I will be the ones you'll be working with once you are accepted. So once you have been accepted, Amy will give me your transfer evaluation, and I will do your course mapping. So I will map your financial aid to how many credits that you'll be taking each term. I'll review balances, options, and payments. So what is financial aid? Financial aid is grants. Grants are the free money that you don't have to pay back. Loans, so most students at Central Penn do take out student loans to defer payments until after they graduate. We also have scholarships. They're on our website at CentralPenn.edu/scholarships, and they are open now. So even though, and I know it feels like you're starting a long time from now, this is the time to work on the scholarships and get the FAFSA submitted. And then we do have work study options as well at Central Penn. Our work study, though, you do have to have a current GPA at Central Penn, and you are limited in hours. We will offer you paychecks, so you will not see that coming off of your tuition bill. So the scholarships I was referencing, these are all on our website, again, CentralPenn.edu/scholarships. Now is the time to apply for them. I know you're starting more towards January, but they're open now and they are limited. So this is the time to actually start working through scholarship applications as it is the FAFSA form. So for those of you looking at the January start, you would complete the FAFSA that's out there now, the 21-22 FAFSA, using you and, if applicable, your parents' 2019 taxes. It is important you submit that FAFSA now because the FIA deadline, if you're a Pennsylvania resident, is May 1st. So get the FAFSA submitted now. You can list up to 10 schools, and then once you've been accepted, we will start working on your financial aid package. So again, it's time to apply for scholarships now, even if you're not a senior. Work on the FAFSA form. Get that submitted, even if you're not sure about what you're doing or when you're starting or what program, just get the FAFSA submitted so you meet the May 1st state grant deadline. And then once you've been accepted, I will work with you throughout the time from acceptance through when you start on a course mapping plan. We'll map out how many credits you're taking, what the financial aid is going to cover, what your balances are, and then the options to cover that balance. Okay, and I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Eberly.
Thank you, Kelly. Hello, everybody. I'm so glad you're interested in the program here in Lancaster, and I'm going to do my best to explain what's going to happen when you enter our program. So we're going to look into the PTA program. In case you're wondering, what is a PTA? This is the definition from the American Physical Therapy Association. I hope that each and every one of you want to help people. I hope you want to maximize quality of life. I hope you want to work with people of all ages in different settings. I hope you want to help people who have had catastrophic illnesses, conditions, surgeries. And of course, at the very end of this definition, you can see that we are encouraging people to create healthy habits. So a big part of what we do has to do with wellness. And if you're into all that, then you're looking at the right field, and I want you in my program. So this is the median annual wage for physical therapy, it should be therapist assistants, $58,790. Now that's the whole country, I'm assuming, Bureau of Labor Statistics. So you can look at Lancaster, you can look at local statistics to see what PTAs earn around here. But it's a fairly nice wage, and along with that comes pretty good benefits because you work in a healthcare setting. Overall employment is predicted to grow 29%, and that's wonderful. We are living longer, and here in Lancaster County, we are retirement mecca. So if you plan on staying, we have many potential patients here in Lancaster County that you'll be able to work with. So it's looking good. This is a listing of the faculty. Our dean is Professor Ann Bishop. She's up in Summerdale. Our director of the PTA program is Dr. Nicole Patterson. She is in Summerdale, but she visits every term. Up in Summerdale, there is an instructor, Maggie Wagner, who places the Summerdale students in their affiliations. We have instructor Stephen Campbell. He places our students here in Lancaster for their affiliations. So in Lancaster, you're interested in the Lancaster program, it's myself and Steve Campbell, and we would be your instructors throughout the whole program. If we have 30 that start, which we probably will, then I will bring in a lab assist, and that's how we get the 1:15 ratio during our labs. These are all the required courses, and even though some of you have maybe had anatomy and physiology, we ask you to take it again because we do a lot of competencies. Amy already mentioned competencies. That's where you can show your skills of a particular, like, I guess like in AMP1, we look at staging wounds. So you have to learn about wound care and also your basic hand washing and donning and doffing. That means putting on and taking off PPE, which would be your protective equipment. In all the AMP classes I've ever taken and observed, you don't do that. And so we require you to take AMP again, just so you can get through these comps. Plus we really focus on the muscles and on the bones. And what Amy was talking about, that was the muscle lab. And we were using clay on our skeletons because it doesn't dry out as fast. But we wanted people to know how the muscles layer. And we do a lot of hands-on. Most people who are interested in PTA are very hands-on people. And we try to do things in our classes that are hands-on. Some of these classes, oh, can we get back there, Derek? Some of these classes are online, like human development is online, fundamentals is online. Some of these are online. And so you will normally have an on-ground and an online class at the same time. And when Amy said that if you transfer in a lot of credits, it actually helps you because then you don't have the English and the math on top of all your PTA program requirements. So if you're transferring in, that kind of helps you. But we always have an on-ground and an online course going most every term. Okay. So we do, like I mentioned, we do active things. And so we don't want you to wear the high heels and the suits and everything for our labs. People come in their exercise outfits. They are in our labs. Like last night, we had a stretching lab. They're required to stretch. And so it has to be, things that you can maneuver in. So we require shorts, sweatpants, t-shirts. There are times you have to take a shirt off. Of course, ladies, you would always have like a sports bra on, but we have to identify major landmarks on the bodies, and we have to identify, the muscles and how they are and where you're gonna put your stim pads when we're in modalities. So you do have to dress appropriately. And when we go into our practicals, where comps, where you have to do the skills and be a PTA, I require you to look like a PTA. So you'll wear, the khakis or some nice athletic wear and a polo shirt, which is the standard PTA uniform, it seems. But don't wear anything that would not be safe in a clinic on your shoes, or like on your feet. Don't wear flip-flops or, like I said, the boots with the high heels. We want to make sure that you are ready for activity at all time. Okay. Attendance is mandatory. In Lancaster, our classes run 4 hours. Now, Amy was saying that with COVID, we did have to do a little modified schedule, but I'm hoping by the time you guys start, we're going to be back to our 4-hour classes because it's really important that we're with each other for 4 hours. Right now, we're meeting just for labs. And so we have the classes broken in half, but I'm hoping that we will all be together. And if you miss a night, that's 4 hours that you have to make up. It's a lot of time. And like if you have a vacation planned that you can't get out of or something's going on, you can talk to me and we can work things out. But we always tell people, try to not miss a class, because even though it's something that you may have planned and we worked on, making sure you don't miss too much, people always feel like they're a little step behind because we move fast. Like Amy said, it's 11 weeks. And then we go through everything in 11 weeks and you only have 2 weeks off and on to another term. So attendance is mandatory. Our grading scale is a little steep because our grading scale ends at 77. That means if you get a 76.4, you don't pass a class. So you want to always make sure that you are focused and studying hard, because you need a C+ in every class to move on to the next. Competencies, you have to have an 80%, and then you have to pass it in order to move along. If you fail, you can retake 1, and that's it. So that's important. Excuse me. I knew this was going to happen. I need a drink. Internships. Internships are what Steve Campbell covers, but you will have unpaid internships. And the first one is 2 weeks, and that's in between term 6 and 7. And then, excuse me, the last 2 are at the end of the program. And like Amy was saying, you have to save your money because there's no payment. I'm really losing my voice. I'm sorry. I was talking too much last night. So as I said, Steve will take care of that, and he will set up your internships. So you don't have to worry about finding them on your own. And Steve is the ACCE, and he will set them up. And I don't even have to say the last part. It is expected that you act professionally. This is something we really focus on throughout the whole program. This is a very, healthcare is professional by nature, and every class you're expected to act like a professional, and everybody does. So that's me. I'm the professor, and Amy, you know Amy. Feel free to contact me at any time. I'm here in my office, and that's where I am right now. And I'm here usually in the afternoon before class, and you can call or you can come visit. And I'm sorry I lost my voice. And
First week of class, it's a lot of talking probably that first night.
All right. Well, thank you, ladies, for all that great information. Now, guys, if you have any questions, if you can go ahead and put them in the chat so we can get those answered for you. I don't see anything yet.
Some people have actually been chatting me individually, so I have answered a couple things individually.
You want to share them with the group? Are they like group?
And I actually will share the one, because people do ask this and no one said it out loud, is because I sit here and I say, oh, we accept a max of 30, and then that makes people stress and they'll ask me like, well, how many people apply? And you know, what if I don't get in? And what I just need to tell you guys, it's not like I have 100 people trying to get 30 seats in a PTA program. So I get a lot of applications, but once the application comes, there's lots of requirements that go with that. So not everyone, you know, finishes up all that stuff. And I would say I generally get, you know, it might be 35, 40, it might be 45. It depends on the term. But then, so maybe that many for 30 seats. So really all you can do is the best that you can do on all your stuff, honestly. The faculty interview is weighted pretty high. So I always tell people, if, you know, maybe they haven't taken the SATs or there's some other reason, I'll be like, you need to do really well in your faculty interview. And I always say, it's just like you're talking to me, because they see Lori and she must be scary. And I'm just kidding. But you know, you hear that I'm going to meet with a professor, and it feels a little bit intimidating. It's just a conversation. It's just making sure this is what you want to do. You know, when you get a degree in physical therapist assistant, you're going to be a physical therapist assistant. It's not like a degree in business where, you know, that's what I have actually. And I'm, you know, there's lots of different kind of ways that you can go. So we just want to make sure, you know, it's a lot of commitment and work, just trying to make sure that this is the right thing. That's part of why you're asked to observe as well. Because I numerous times, I mean, I can't lie, I had someone before tell me they did their observation hours and they didn't like it. But that's why you observe. But I don't tend to get that. Usually I get, oh my gosh, I just observed, I'm so excited. Like, honestly, so there's just a lot of things that go into it. And if you are stressed, I'll talk to you. I usually can make you feel better.
All right, Amy, I got a question for you in the chat. Will I need both my high school and college transcripts?
Yes, please. So if you have college, that's what's used basically for acceptance. But because of our accreditation, we need to have your high school transcript on file. So you can just quick contact your high school. You may probably go on their website and you can have it sent electronically to like admissions@CentralPenn.edu. And I can give you all this information, or I can put it in the chat here too. Just have it sent electronically so that we have that on file, please.
All right, thanks, Amy. Lori, I'm going to direct this one to you, but I'm sure Amy can just chime in as well. I heard that PTAs are getting phased out. Is that true? Do you want to answer that first, and then I'll go into the rest of the question?
Yeah, there's a particular clinic that all their PTAs are being phased out only because they use techs. And if you have a PT tech set up, as a PT, I wouldn't feel real safe all the time. I mean, I like to know that the person who's treating my patients have gone through a program and have taken a national exam. And these business models are pushing people away to be PTAs only because they're not getting reimbursed the full 100% that a PT is getting for that hour of treatment. And so the PTAs are only going to be bringing in 85% for that hour of what a PT would bring in. And this is all a business model. And this particular clinic has chosen to have a business model where they want the PTs and the techs. And as a patient, let's say I was a patient going into this facility, I would want to be treated by someone, either the PT or the PTA, because a tech is just trained on the spot. They have not gone through any program. And it's kind of, you know, I don't know. I think more of our patients are going to be aware of that as time goes on. And so the PTAs are not going to be phased out. In fact, PTAs are doing all the treatments at all the long-term care facilities right now. PTs are just doing evaluations and discharges. In my home care setting, I'm doing start of cares and evals, and our PTAs are doing all the visits in between. So they are recruiting PTAs in those settings. Now, in other outpatient settings, not that particular one that I was explaining, those who hire PTAs, they are very happy with the PTAs because a PT can supervise 3 PTAs and that business model works. So yes, there are people talking about phasing out, but I highly doubt it that they're going to phase out. It's almost like saying, are they going to phase out physician's assistants? And physician's assistants earn only 85% of what a doctor would earn for that hour. So I highly doubt it. And, you know, COVID did hurt some of our job recruitment, but things are really picking up now and people are starting to get jobs. And by the time you guys get in through the program and out, I'm hoping that, you know, all this is behind us and we are moving along like we were. I mean, people were getting jobs like crazy. And as I said, we keep aging. So I really think that you'll be okay. That was a long-winded explanation, but I feel it's okay.
Thanks, Lori. I think that was helpful.
Yeah, thank you for that, Lori. I do get asked that, and I know how to respond, and I've talked to Dr. Patterson about it. Steve Campbell is a PTA, and I was at Lancaster a couple weeks ago, and Steve and I got to talking about this, and his explanation of it was so good too. And I mean, he is a PTA. He's like, I'm not going anywhere. Like, I don't know, but you know, it's tough when you hear these things and you want to come to school, and I can understand asking about it. So I appreciate it.
All right, ladies. We also have a second part to that question is when you say we have online and on-ground classes, can you explain that a little more? And is this on top of my gen ed classes?
Yes. So online, we use the Blackboard format. I know at HAC, I think they were using D2L, but there's all these learning systems, but Blackboard is very easy to learn and very easy to maneuver around. Your gen eds are going to be online as well. So we encourage everybody to take gen eds online, and the face-to-face classes usually have a lab component. And so we will be doing lab activities. That's why they're not online. So the evening classes are the lab classes, and then the rest would be your online classes. And it's either Monday, Wednesday, or it's a Tuesday, Thursday. The first year is Monday, Wednesday, and the second year is Tuesday, Thursday.
Yes, thank you.
Uh-huh.
And just to clarify that, because the person asked, is that on top of everything else? So once you get accepted and everything, Kelly will get you an exact roadmap. So you may have your class in person and one like kind of PTA course online, and then maybe one gen ed online, depending on what you've transferred in. So to ask if it's on top of it is tough to answer. If you do have gen eds to take, like those are thrown in like each term, but it's all mapped out for you ahead of time. So you, not the exact classes, but the number of credits, so you can kind of know what to expect each time.
Okay. And do you get a lot of students in the program who are here for a second degree?
Yes. Yes, we have a lot of college graduates, and you know, sure, they've had the college experience, but we throw so much information at them that everybody's on the same boat. So it's helpful, you know, the people who have gone to school before, you know how to study. People right out of high school, they have to learn, and it's fast. I mean, we go fast, and I tell people not to have life events, you know, don't plan weddings and have babies and, you know, all these life events, because for 2 years, you're going to be very dedicated to the program.
And Lisa, to add to that, if you do have a degree already, you will automatically receive the transfer scholarship, which is $1,500 divided over your first 6 terms.
Right, thanks, Kelly. How relevant are SAT and ACT scores for someone who already has a college degree?
If you already have a degree, I don't get your SAT scores. It's, without getting too in depth and giving you too much detail, you know, there is a part of the rubric that has to do with SATs and or college degree. So when you're in that boat, I will talk to you about it. And I had someone, actually, I think she's on this call. She emailed me and she's like, you didn't ask me for my SAT scores. And I looked back, I said, that's because you already have a degree. I didn't need them. So I'll make sure that nothing's missed and that I'm getting everything I need.
All right. The next question is, I had my internship at an office that one of the students who goes to Central Penn was working at, and she mentioned that for the classes, they may possibly move the lecture part online instead. That way you're at the actual class for less of the time. Is this true?
Yes, we had to do that for COVID. So we had to divide the classes in half, and we have half the group because we're only allowed to have so many in the room at a time. So we're doing 2-hour labs, and then they have to do online all the lectures. And I videoed all my lectures, and so they have to listen to me anyway. So they click on the PowerPoint and I lecture. And now they have a choice. They can shut me off if they want, but I lecture and I pretend I'm talking to them, but I would rather have everybody together. And it's my hope that this summer for neuro, which will be their last class, we can have everybody together. So we tried the best we could, you know, with COVID, and at least we're together for our lab portion right now. And, you know, unfortunately, they're only on campus for 2 hours on their night, but normally we would be on campus for 4.
All right, thanks, Lori. How many credits worth of gen eds are there, Amy? Is it possible to transfer them all in?
Yeah, so the entire program, 79 credits. Of that, 30 are gen eds. 8 credits is internship, and let's subtract that out. What's that leave? The rest is core PTA courses. And yes, you can transfer in all those gen eds. However, if you are in that boat where you want to try and do that, you need to be in constant contact with me, because I can't just go here, take these 10 gen eds. It doesn't work that way. The gen eds are kind of in categories. And so when someone tells me they want to take gen eds or they want to take all of them or some, reach out to me individually. I usually will tell you, start with these classes. I'll give you like, here's 5. Take a couple of these. After you take those, you get me your transcript. We get a transfer evaluation back. That's a roadmap that tells you what you transferred in and what's remaining to take. Once that roadmap comes back, then everything is all nice and categorized out for you and for me, and it's easier for me to help you decide what to take. You know, and Jeanette, I know you and I were working on this together, and you've been doing that with me. You've been kind of getting your transcript, and then we'll update it. But people go wrong is if they try to do all these gen eds and don't consult with me, and then inevitably they've taken something that overlaps or didn't transfer in. And so the best way to do that is reach out to me and we'll take care of that together.
And definitely make sure when you're doing those classes to transfer in that you stay above that 2.5 GPA as well. So we've had people that take an overload of classes trying to transfer them in and then fall below that and then not qualify. So
yes. Thank you, Lisa. And also you need a C, even with 2.5 overall, but you need at least a C to transfer in the class.
Correct. All right. Is the Summerdale classes all in person or is it online and in person as well?
Generally, it's all in person during the day, full time class every day. I'm not exactly sure. I know they are definitely doing all their hands-on. I'm not sure if they've had to move anything else online due to COVID, but in general, non-COVID world, everything's back to normal. Basically, everything is in person at Summerdale.
All right. And then are the scholarships only for high school graduates, Kel?
They are not. So the website is divided up in sections. So high school is the first option. And then if you keep scrolling down, you'll see other scholarships that don't have a graduation date that you can apply for.
Okay. And do you accept CLEP credits?
Yes, we accepted CLEP for the only one I've ever done is English. Did we do a math CLEP, Kel or Lori?
I don't remember. I remember English. A lot of students did the CLEP for English.
English is the most popular.
Yeah, if you're interested in taking a CLEP, what I would recommend is, like Amy was saying, with checking with her before you're doing it to make sure that that would transfer in.
Yeah, we have someone who's an expert on this who isn't on the call. And so normally I shoot her a quick email, hey, would this work for this? And then I get back to you pretty quickly.
Okay, are there any other questions right now?
I think I saw one pop up about FAFSA.
Oh, yep. Sorry, mine was on a delay. so we should fill out the FAFSA form to start with the financial part, correct?
Yes, you need to complete the 21-22 FAFSA now before May 1st to meet the state grant deadline.
Kel, do they need our school code?
Yes, I'll put it in the chat.
Okay.
Right. So as I was trying to get to you a link to the scholarship page. So I'm going to get that here for you in a second. Any other questions? Kelly, do you want to talk real quick just about the new housing that we have out? I know that Lancaster can take part in that as well. So
yes, we are offering free housing to our students at the Summerdale campus. So if you are under the age of 24, you could live in our super suites. And if you are 25 to 30, you could live in our apartments. So Central Penn is covering the cost of the actual suite or apartment, and then you would just be responsible for the meal plan and the utilities, which just adds about $1,000 to each bill. So you wouldn't have to pay the actual rent per se. We would cover that for you, and we would cover it for your entire time. It's for 2 years, which is exactly how long your program is. I would guess, and Amy, maybe you know better than I do, we're about an hour from the Lancaster campus. I would think an hour is about right. So if you live further from Lancaster than an hour, definitely it might be a possibility for you, and I can definitely give you more information on that.
Thank you for that information. Actually, I have a couple people from Philly, and they might not be on here, but I need to reach out to them about that. And also, I wanted to say, unfortunately, we couldn't be in person, so we couldn't get a tour today. So I actually work at the Lancaster Center on Thursdays, and I would love to give you a tour. If you can't come on a Thursday, there's other people that can show you around, show you the labs. I love when Lori's there with me. she goes, takes the tour. She explains a lot of the fun things that you do. Which is, I was actually going to ask you, Lori, if there was a few extra minutes to talk about some of the fun hands-on things that you do in class.
Oh.
And while you think about it, I mean, just from being there on Thursdays, just stuff that I observe and see. all the students on walkers or crutches trying to get up the steps.
Right.
I've actually had an ultrasound done on me. Just they needed a guinea pig.
We needed a
Yeah.
patient.
They needed a patient, and it was earlier, so there were no
Yeah.
students there. So I did that. Last time I was there, Lori, with your class, I was laughing. They were doing posture, the posture where they had to walk and to see, how they could get around.
Plumb line.
What are some other fun things?
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to share, yeah, we do a lot of fun things because 4 hours is a long time. And I know even when we don't do the online lectures and we're lecturing face to face, you don't want to hear me for 4 hours, and I definitely would lose my voice every night for that. But we do activities. We'll talk, and then we'll do activities, and then we'll talk, and then we'll do activities. We break it up. And I have to say that once you are in a cohort, you become like a family, and you stay together the whole time. And I've seen wonderful friendships develop. I think we have a romance going on. There's all kinds, you get really close to each other. And I call you guys a family because you're very supportive of one another. You have a big test to take, a big national exam. And so the students get together, they study in the study areas, like we have this little lounge area. They come in and their friendships have blossomed over the year and a half that they've been in class together. And it's just great. It's a wonderful experience. We don't ever have, situations where people feel like they're in the outs, because the people who are attracted to this are people who love people. And so everybody just gets along, and it's family. So, teaching this group is a riot because everybody likes to have fun. And yes, I do cause stress because I make you take tests and you do competencies, and there's a lot of learning that goes on. But I hope that at times, people are saying, that wasn't so bad. It was rather pleasurable. And a lot of times they leave and they're like in a good mood, and especially if they got an A in the test. But yeah, I just wanted to share that it's a nice environment to be in.
It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Do you guys have any other questions today? I know we answered a lot and you heard a lot of information. We will be sending out an email here probably by the end of the week that'll have a recording of this as well. So you can always reference back, or if you need to share this information with your family or somebody else that's making the decision with you to, attend school. And Kelly did put in the school code in the chat, and I just submitted to the scholarship link that'll take you right to all the scholarships that you can apply for. All right, guys, if there's no other questions, that's all we have for today. And thanks again for joining us. It was great to see you all, and we hope to see you on campus in Lancaster soon.
Nice to see you guys. Email me if you need anything. Talk to you soon.
Nice to meet you.